Well, finding out about my father was reasonably easy because he was documented in the Auschwitz documents. So I've got all the proof when he arrived and when he died. As far as my mother is concerned, she is one of the 2 million people who are still unaccounted for. And although I have made some progress and I found that she was still alive as late as December 1944, I haven't quite found out what happened at the end. It's quite hard work, is that. Whether I shall achieve finding out, I don't know. But I'm still trying. When my brother died, we came across a letter which had come from a friend of my mother's who had actually put in a lot of information I had not been aware of. That mother had divorced my father. I think I was vaguely aware of that. I did not realize that she had remarried. And while I was looking for her under my name, maiden name of Feldman, she of course had remarried and got a different name. So it's only when I got this different name, which was only about 2 or 3 years ago, that I started looking under that name. Her second husband was somebody who was 25 years older than she was. He must have known her all her life because they were both born in the same village. And it was a well-known fact that single people were much more readily picked up by the Nazis than people who were married. So in essence, he married her to give her protection. There were other complications because he had, of course, been a Jew who'd been baptized into the evangelical church, the Protestant church. And my mother also, before she married him, was baptized into the evangelical church. Unfortunately, in Slovakia, which is a very strongly Catholic country, that was the wrong Christian arm they were baptized into, so they were at quite a lot of danger. Now, I have been able to follow what happened to him. I found information through Bad Arolsen in Germany that he was actually deported to Sachsenhausen, and I have seen the announcement of the death in those documents. But I have no documentary evidence after the 17th of December of what happened to my mother. On that date, she and her husband were taken to a transit camp called Sered in Slovakia, near Bratislava. He then gets transported, but I haven't been able to find her on any of the lists of either Theresienstadt, Auschwitz wasn't functional at that time anymore, or at Ravensbrück, which was a special women's camp. So I've still got to look. This photograph shows my grandma sitting in the middle with her 9 children. My father was the eldest of the 9, and he died in Auschwitz. Another brother, Karl, died in Auschwitz. Another brother in Budapest, Frigyes, he survived. And another brother, Sándor, who was a doctor, went to Russia, and he came back fighting with the Russians back, and he survived, although his wife and child were killed. Another sister who lived in Budapest, that was rather a sad story because her daughter worked for the Judenrat. In other words, she had to pick the people, or help pick the people who were transported. She had to pick her mother, who then died in Auschwitz, and also another cousin who died on one of the marches. Now, one other sister, the youngest sister of my brother, married an American in 1927, and she did her utmost to get the family out. She succeeded in bringing 2 of her sisters, both of whom had lived in Vienna with their families, and they became refugees in America.